What's up, y'all? It's your boy KSK Sports here, and hey, I got a little blind spot for national media. All right, I should have been getting on national media a little bit more. I've been on Cleveland media. You know, this channel is devoted to Cleveland media and me calling them out and them. Not being above reproach, especially when it comes to them talking about Shedeur Sanders. But I don't want to focus just on Shedeur Sanders for this particular video. I want to talk about the national media, particularly ESPN. ESPN just came out, and I think Dan Graziano, a national reporter for ESPN, he came out and said his biggest loser for free agency was the Cleveland Browns. And he said, hey, well, the Browns should have went out and got a quarterback, or maybe they should have addressed the offense more than what they did. What? What are you talking about? I get it. The national media, it really ain't popular to talk about the Cleveland Browns because, frankly, the Cleveland Browns, it's easy to punch down on the Cleveland Browns when you're national media. Now, Cleveland media, they have to cover the Cleveland Browns because that's their market. So they have to cover the Cleveland Browns. So you can see why, there's bitterness in Cleveland media when you have to live in Cleveland. No shade at Cleveland, man. I love Cleveland. But for real though, man. It's Cleveland. It's like, hey, what Joakim Noah said about Cleveland is kind of true. Who goes on vacation in Cleveland? It's like, I'm from Northeast Ohio, so I know what Northeast Ohio is about. I lived in Ohio for 32 years of my life. I've been to Cleveland several times, even though I was born in Youngstown, Ohio. I can say these things about Cleveland, Youngstown, Northeast Ohio. Like, that's why I'm in California, man. It's sunny. It's almost 90 degrees out here. In March, we're about to have a record high in March, bro. It's like, it is what it is. Like, Cleveland's not the most desirable city, so it's easy to punch down on Cleveland. Even though I do have an affinity for Cleveland. I love Cleveland. I love my Cleveland Browns. I love Ohio. But, I had to dip. So, hey, man, you know the saying, stuck in Ohio, man. Sometimes you got to get unstuck, man. You got to see what else is out there. And I saw what was out there, and the West Coast is amazing. But anyways, enough of me. Enough of KSK and my affinity for sunny California. National media, Cleveland. I understand Cleveland, they have to talk about the Cleveland Browns. But the national media, they don't. So when they do bring up Cleveland and the Cleveland Browns, and they bring up Shedeur Sanders, and they bring up what they've done in free agency, it always seems like they always miss the mark. They always miss the mark. Talking about they're the biggest loser because they addressed the biggest need on their team. So they went out and got 3 offensive linemen, pretty much restructured their entire offensive linemen. They're pretty much their entire offensive line gone, dunzo. They're not extending the contract or somebody's retiring like Joe Patonio, a.k.a. the mole for Jason Lloyd. I mean, they had to go out and get new offensive linemen because essentially they're hauling their entire offensive line. So they went out and they devoted a lot of money. They restructured Deshaun Watson's contract and they essentially used all that money to bolster the offensive line for Shedeur Sanders. That is a crazy game, man. They took all of the Deshaun Watsons, they got restructured it, and they're gonna take it to benefit somebody that's not Deshaun. That's crazy. It's the evil world, like Future say. But anyways, yeah, Dan Graziano. So you would have liked that the Cleveland Browns, you would have preferred that the Cleveland Browns went out and got Malik Willis. The only problem is that he has ties to Miami, with their coach being the former defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. And they got a lot of former Green Bay coaches in Miami. So that made sense for Malik Willis to have a soft landing in Miami with a defensive coordinator that he was with in in Green Bay, now in Miami. That seems like the NFL is all about relationships. So it makes sense that he saw Malik Willis and like, hey, we need a quarterback here in Miami. We're going to eat that dead cap hit for Tua. I was with Malik just in Green Bay not too long ago, and he's a free agent. Come on. We're going to take a flower in. We like what you see. That doesn't make sense. Dan Graziano of ESPN. Also, Kyler Murray. Oh, how are they going to get Kyler Murray? Are you going to overpay for Kyler Murray? You can sign him for a veteran's minimum. Arizona is footing the rest of the bill. So why would Cleveland pay extra when he can sign for the veterans minimum? Why would you? That's just bad business. Why would you? He's already getting X amount from Arizona already. They're paying the majority of his contract. You don't have to throw more money at a situation like that. He's literally playing for the veterans minimum in Minnesota. The problem with Kyler to Cleveland was always that he had an affinity for the Minnesota Vikings. This dude grew up a Vikings fan. So when the opportunity presented himself to be with a stable franchise, with a stable coach, and so a team that he has an affinity for, why would Kyler Murray go to the Cleveland Browns instead of the Minnesota Vikings? Come on, man. Come on, ESPN, man. Come on, ESPN. Y'all used to be the worldwide leader in sports. Y'all just a worldwide leader of propaganda now. It is what it is, man. I used to want to be on ESPN. Like, why would I want to be on ESPN now? I can do my own thing. In the comfort of the 4 acres I live on, I'm looking at beautiful sunshine right now. I'm about to go out and do some yard work after I get done with this video. It's sunny. It's beautiful out here. Why would I want to be in cold Bristol, Connecticut? It's probably snowing there. You know, when I live in California, do essentially what they do on a much smaller scale. But I'm the boss. I'm the CEO. I get to make my own schedule. I can put out videos when I want to. I can talk about what I want to. I don't have any bosses looking over me like, hey, KSK, you shouldn't be saying that. You shouldn't be saying that. Nope, I don't have that. I have full autonomy. I have full creative control. And it's great. I just love it. And then I could do this. I could be like, hey, wrist up. 12. It's 12 time. I can do stuff like that. Can't do that at ESPN. You on a certain rope. It's like, you can only say so much. They got a producer in your ear. You got an earpiece in. They're like, hey, man, we want you to say this. We want to drive the conversation this way. We got to hit these talking points. Like, bro, I don't need all that. I'm going off the cuff, bro. I'm going off the cuff. And I ain't like that. I can't be contained, man. You don't know what I'm going to say, man. Might pop off. I think that's from Life. He's like, you don't know what I'm going to say. Oh, might pop off. Anyways, yeah. ESPN national media might be worse than Cleveland media. They might just be worse. Like, what are y'all talking about? They revamped their whole offensive line because they had to. That was a necessity. Now, if they do want to add an external quarterback, like Andrew Berry said, they can still look at this draft. You can still get a veteran quarterback that's not really a top level veteran quarterback. You know, maybe like a Marcus Mariota. I'm throwing that name out there. I'm not saying they will get Marcus Mariota, but the Cleveland Browns the rumors are looking at Anthony Richardson, maybe J.J. McCarthy, which is like, if they trade for one of those guys and they release Dylan Gabriel, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that for competition for Shedeur Sanders. It's like, it's just whatever. At some point, there is going to be another quarterback added to the fold. I don't believe Dylan Gabriel is going to be on the team when it's all said and done. So if they bring in Anthony Richardson, they bring in J.J. McCarthy, a former first-round pick, to compete with Shedeur, it's going to be funny. It'll be dangerous. It's going to be funny when Shedeur beats out J.J. McCarthy or beats out Anthony Richardson. Then the Jason Lloyds of the world, what they going to say? Oh, 5th round. At that point, it's going to be apparent that there was some collusion inside the NFL to let Shedeur fall to the 5th round. All right? If it gets to that point, actually, I want this to happen. Let's make this happen. How about we bring in J.J. McCarthy and Anthony Richardson? Let's just have a good old 3-way competition. And then Deshaun's just on the team. It's like, all right, man, you collecting the check, but we're going to put you on the physically unable to perform list because you're going to collect your money, but you're not a real option, man. You're not a real option, bro. Anybody that thinks Deshaun Watson is a real option for the Cleveland Browns, no. The most likely scenario is that they are going to bring in another quarterback to compete with Shedeur Sanders for that starting job. Deshaun Watson will probably be QB3, like kind of a break open in case emergency. Deshaun Watson is not a real option for the Cleveland Browns. Stop it. When your owner has already said this is a swing and a miss, he said that. Jimmy Haslam said that unprovoked. But national media, they keep trying to push out, Deshaun's going to get a chance. Cleveland media is talking about Deshaun's going to get a chance. I understand it with national media. That might not be as plugged in as Cleveland media. But come on, man. Y'all, these talking points. The worst free agency? What? They revamped their whole offensive line. What are you talking about? The worst. They filled a position of need. And they got a guy who's a former Pro Bowler at their center position. They got a guy who's pretty good at left tackle, and Titus Howard as well. And they got a guard on top of that. It's like they did exactly what people that are Shador fans and Cleveland Browns fans wanted them to do. Wanted them to get better at the offensive line position. Now, is this a great offensive line? Most likely not. But can they be built up to be a better offensive line than what the Cleveland Browns had last season? Guys who shouldn't even be in the NFL. Absolutely, Todd Monken could get these guys to be at the bare minimum like a middle level offensive line in the league. Man, you give Shador like the 16th or 17th best offensive line in the NFL compared to the 32nd like he had last year and the bad offensive lines he had at Colorado. Like Shador say, it'd be dangerous. But anyways, national media, come on, man. Y'all talking points. The Browns had the worst free agency. Dan Graziano. Yeah, I don't buy that. It just buckles under the slightest amount of pressure. It's like a house of cards argument. I could just blow on your house of cards and it just all falls down. They have the worst free agency. They addressed a need, a concern. They needed to bolster the offensive line. That's exactly what they did. And going into the draft, they're going to probably add more pieces to that offensive line to go with DeJuan Jones and Luke Whippler. So they're going to add to that. They're talking about Monroe Freeling, the left tackle at Georgia. I wouldn't mind that. He seems to be a good choice for the Browns at left tackle. Even they might be able to trade down and still get him. I think that's a good scenario for the Cleveland Browns. Trade down, get him, and then with that 24th pick, maybe you pick 12th and 14th instead of 6th and 20. Maybe you pick 11th and 24th instead of 6th and 24th. Trading back, and then you're able to get a first-round pick, and you get 2 first-round picks in 2027. So if they're able to do that, they're able to recruit those 3 first-round picks they gave up for Deshaun Watson, because they would have 20 and 25. They would have 2 first-round picks in 25. They got 2 first-round picks in 26, and if they're able to trade back and subsequently get another first-round pick for them trading back, they would have 2 first-round picks in 27. So that would recoup everything that you lost in the Deshaun Watson trade. I think that's what Andrew Berry, I think that's the gist of what he wants to do. They realize, hey, that was an error. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Haslam was like, hey, that was an F up. We swung for the fences, we missed. But how can we move forward amicably? Like they said, 40-year-old version. Let's move on amicably. my guy Jay. That's a funny movie. But anyways, yeah, that's all I got on this one. Yeah, national media. Maybe some Browns fans are like, hey, why doesn't national media speak about the Cleveland Browns? Well, we need national media to speak more than Cleveland Browns. Maybe we don't. We got plenty of people that do great work that, aren't Cleveland media. Guys like Quincy Carrier, guys like Garrett Bush, guys like FB Teens, guys like that. Salute to all you guys fighting the good fight. Yeah, I'm just doing my small part here on KSK Sports. I'm just saying, man. Like, we don't need the Dan Graziano just speaking reckless. We don't need the Stephen A. Smith saying what they say, or any of the national media. We already know about the Cleveland media. I don't need to, keep hashing on the Cleveland media being bad. But national media, do better. All right. KSK Sports rolling out. Like, comment, subscribe. Help this channel get over 500 subs by the end of March. I can't do it without you guys. If you made it to the end, hey, I appreciate y'all making it to the end, man. Getting that watch time hours up. I need that watch time hours up. Help your boy out with that as well. All right, I'm rolling out. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.